She saw him shaking by the ice cream stand, alone in a crowd of thousands, and everyone pretended he didn't exist. His shirt cost more than her mother's medication. His hands trembled like her father's did before the accident. When Naomi Washington reached for Walter Sterling that November morning in Philadelphia, she had $19 left until Friday and no idea that grabbing a stranger's hand would change her life. But Walter knew. Even through the fog eating his memory, even surrounded by people who looked through him like glass, he knew. This girl with the yellow jacket and tired eyes was the answer to a prayer he'd forgotten how to speak. If you are enjoying this story, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like the video and comment where you are watching from. Your support helps us bring more powerful stories. And trust me, you won't want to miss them. Now, let's go back 2 hours before, where it all started. Naomi Washington woke to the sound of her mother choking. She was off the mattress before her eyes opened fully, feet hitting the cold floor of their South Philadelphia apartment. 2 steps to the bedroom door. Her mother's cough tore through the walls like something alive and angry. "Mama." Naomi pushed the door open. "Mama, breathe." Lorraine Washington sat upright in bed, chest heaving, one hand pressed to her sternum. The oxygen machine hummed in the corner. She'd unplugged it again during the night. Said the tube made her feel like she was drowning. "I'm fine." Lorraine's voice came out scraped raw. "Go back to sleep, baby." "You're not fine." Naomi crossed to the window and yanked the curtains open. Gray November light spilled across the room. Her mother looked smaller than she had yesterday. The lupus was eating her from the inside out, and the medication they couldn't afford was the only thing that could slow it down. "I have to work today." Naomi kept her voice flat. No room for the fear that lived in her throat. "It's Wednesday. You don't work Wednesdays." "I picked up a shift. Thanksgiving crowd at the market." Lorraine studied her daughter. Naomi was 17 but looked older. Short natural afro, dark skin that glowed bronze in the light, and eyes that had stopped expecting good things. She wore a bright yellow North Face jacket over her pajamas. The jacket was 3 years old and had been her father's before the accident. Before everything fell apart. "You need to eat," Lorraine said. "I'll grab something at work." They both knew she wouldn't. Naomi walked to the kitchen and stared at the refrigerator. Bills covered the front, held up by magnets shaped like fruit. Red ink screamed from every envelope. Temple University Hospital. Jefferson Health. Philadelphia Medical Associates. Numbers that might as well have been written in a foreign language for all the good they did. $847 past due. $1,203 past due. $6,891 past due. She opened the fridge. 2 eggs. Half a loaf of bread. A bottle of ketchup. Naomi closed it again without taking anything. Her phone buzzed. A text from her boss at the flower stand. "Can you come in early? We're slammed." She checked her bank account. $19.47. Payday was Friday. 2 more days. Naomi grabbed the bread and made her mother a piece of toast. Brought it to her with a glass of water and the morning pills Lorraine could barely swallow anymore. "I love you," Lorraine said as Naomi turned to leave. "Love you too." Walter Sterling stood in his kitchen and tried to remember where he kept the coffee. The penthouse was 22 floors above the city. Windows wrapped around 3 sides. Philadelphia spread out below him like a map he no longer knew how to read. He'd lived here for 18 years. Built the place himself. Chose every fixture, every finish, every piece of furniture. Now he couldn't find the coffee. "Mr. Sterling?" Rosa appeared in the doorway. She was the housekeeper, had been for 6 years, but sometimes Walter forgot her name. Today was one of those days. "I need coffee," he said. "It's in the cabinet above the sink. Same place as always." She said it gently. That was the worst part. Everyone had started using that gentle voice with him, like he was a child who might break if they spoke too loud. Walter was 76 years old. Tall even with the stoop that had crept into his spine. White hair uncombed. He wore Ralph Lauren pajamas that cost more than most people made in a week. The penthouse was worth $4 million. He had properties in 6 states. 42 million in assets, according to his accountant. He couldn't remember where the coffee was. Rosa made him breakfast. Scrambled eggs and toast. He ate mechanically, staring at the photograph on the table. A family portrait from 12 years ago. Him and Margaret, his wife, smiling in front of their beach house in Cape May. His son Preston, standing stiff in a suit. His daughter Claire, wearing a dress she'd hated. Margaret had been dead for 8 years. Walter couldn't remember her funeral. "Your son called yesterday," Rosa said as she cleared his plate. "He wants to talk to you about some papers." "What papers?" "I don't know, Mr. Sterling." Preston. His son was a lawyer. Corporate law. Made partner at 38. Hadn't visited in 4 months. Called once a week to ask about Walter's mental state, and whether he was managing his affairs properly. Claire lived in Boston. Marketing executive. 2 kids Walter had met exactly twice. She sent a card at Christmas. Sometimes she remembered his birthday. They were busy. Successful. He'd raised them to be successful. They didn't need him anymore. "I'm going for a walk," Walter said. Rosa frowned. "Mr. Sterling, you haven't showered yet." "I'll shower later." He stood and walked toward the door. Rosa called after him, but he didn't stop. The elevator ride down felt longer than usual. The lobby doorman nodded at him. Walter nodded back and stepped onto Walnut Street. The November air bit through his pajama shirt. He'd forgotten a coat. Forgotten shoes. He wore leather slippers that scraped against the sidewalk. People moved past him in rivers. Business suits and coffee cups and phones pressed to ears. No one looked at him. Walter walked east on Walnut, then south on Broad Street. His mind wandered. He was looking for something but couldn't remember what. A car. He needed his car. Had a meeting. Something important. Except he didn't drive anymore. The doctor had revoked his license 6 months ago after he'd gotten lost 3 times in 1 week. Walter turned onto Market Street. The crowds grew thicker. He followed them without knowing why. His slippers were wet. His feet hurt. But he kept walking because stopping meant admitting he didn't know where he was going. Naomi's hands smelled like roses and her back ached from standing. The flower stand sat near the east entrance of the market. Thanksgiving was a week away and everyone needed centerpieces, bouquets, last-minute gifts for hosts. Naomi wrapped stems in brown paper and made change and smiled until her face hurt. She hadn't eaten. The $19 stayed in her pocket. "Can I get a dozen white roses?" A woman in a cream-colored coat tapped her credit card against the counter. "And hurry. I'm late." Naomi wrapped the roses. Rang her up. Watched her leave without saying thank you. The market churned with bodies and noise. Vendors called out specials. Tourists took photos. The smell of roast pork and fresh bread mixed with the cold air blowing in every time the doors opened. Naomi's phone buzzed. Her mother. "How's work?" She texted back, "Fine." She wasn't fine. Her feet hurt. Her head hurt. The world felt heavy and cold and impossibly far from fair. At 11:47 a.m., Naomi looked up from a bucket of sunflowers and saw an old man standing near the ice cream counter. He was shaking. The old man wore a white button-down shirt with a coffee stain down the front. Expensive fabric. The kind that held its shape even wrinkled. His gray slacks had a perfect crease. His leather slippers were soaked through. He stood in the center of the walkway between the ice cream counter and the cheese shop, and people flowed around him like water around a stone. "Excuse me." A woman in a red scarf brushed past him. Didn't look. The old man turned in a small circle. His mouth moved, but Naomi couldn't hear the words. His hands opened and closed at his sides. "Sir." A teenage boy stopped. "You okay?" The old man stared at him. "Where's my car?" "I don't know, man." The boy walked away. Naomi watched from 30 feet away. She should get back to the flowers. Her boss would notice. But something about the way the old man stood there, something about the tremor in his shoulders, held her still. A security guard approached. Young guy, maybe 25, hand resting on his radio. Sir, you can't stand here. You're blocking the walkway. I need to find my car. The old man's voice cracked. I have a meeting. Are you drunk? No. No, I can't remember. The guard's expression shifted. Annoyance to suspicion. Can't remember what? Where I parked. A woman pulling a shopping cart stopped to watch. Another joined her. Within seconds a small crowd had formed. Not helping. Just watching. Maybe he's having a stroke, someone said. Call an ambulance. He looks homeless. Those are expensive shoes. The old man turned toward the voices. His face was pale. Naomi saw the exact moment he understood what was happening. That he was the spectacle. That these people saw him as a problem to be solved or a story to tell later. His hands started shaking harder. Naomi's boss called her name. She didn't turn around. Her feet carried her forward before her brain caught up. She pushed through the small crowd, past the security guard, and stopped directly in front of the old man. Up close she could see everything. The white stubble on his jaw. The burst capillaries in his cheeks. His eyes were blue and wet and so lost they made her chest hurt. Hi, she said quietly. He blinked at her. I'm Naomi. She held out her hand. Not to shake. Just offering it. I've got you. The old man stared at her hand like it was the first kind thing he'd seen in years. Maybe it was. His fingers were cold and papery when they closed around hers. His whole body seemed to exhale. Thank you, he whispered. The two words broke something open inside Naomi's chest. She squeezed his hand. His grip tightened back. What's your name? She asked. Walter. He said it slowly, like he was checking to make sure it was true. Walter Sterling. Okay, Walter. Let's sit down. She led him to a bench near the flower stand. The crowd dispersed. The security guard watched them for another moment, then moved on. Naomi's boss shouted something about her shift, but she ignored it. Walter sat heavily. His breathing was too fast. Naomi sat beside him, still holding his hand. Do you know where you are? She asked. Market. He looked around, confused. Reading terminal? That's right. Do you live nearby? I don't. His face crumpled. Not crying. Worse. The expression of someone watching their own mind betray them. Naomi had seen that look on her father's face in the hospital. The frustration. The fear. It's okay, she said. We'll figure it out. I had a meeting. I'm late. What meeting? I don't remember. His voice went thin. I can't remember. A woman walking past slowed, staring at them. White lady, maybe 40, pearl earrings. Her eyes moved from Walter to Naomi's hand holding his. Her expression curdled. Everything okay here? The question was directed at Walter, not Naomi. We're fine, Naomi said. The woman ignored her. Sir, do you know this girl? Walter looked at Naomi. Something cleared in his eyes. Yes. Are you sure? Because if you need help. I said we're fine. Naomi's voice went hard. The woman walked away but kept looking back. Naomi felt the weight of it. The assumption. Young black girl and a confused old white man. People would make up their own story. I need to call someone, Naomi said. Do you have family? Someone we can contact. Walter reached into his pocket, pulled out a wallet, leather worn smooth. He fumbled through it and found a business card. His hands shook so badly he dropped it. Naomi picked it up. Sterling and Associates Real Estate Development *. Walter J. Sterling, founder and CEO. There was a phone number. An address in Rittenhouse Square. Naomi pulled out her phone. Cracked screen, battery at 12%. She typed his name into Google. The results loaded. Walter Sterling, Philadelphia real estate mogul. Net worth estimated at $40 million. Sterling Properties portfolio includes. Naomi's stomach dropped. She looked at the old man beside her, at his wet slippers and stained shirt, at the way he gripped her hand like a lifeline. $40 million. She should let go. Should walk away. Should find a security guard or a cop or someone official who wouldn't be blamed if something went wrong. But Walter was looking at her with those lost blue eyes, and she remembered her father. How he'd looked at her in the hospital bed. How he'd held her hand. How she'd promised him she'd be okay. She hadn't been okay. But maybe she could help someone else be. "Walter," she said, "I'm going to buy you some water. And then we're going to make some calls. Is that okay? You're not leaving." "No, I'm not leaving." His shoulders dropped. Relief. Trust. He didn't know her. Had met her 3 minutes ago. But he trusted her because she'd done the one thing no one else had. She'd stopped. Naomi used 2 of her remaining $17 to buy a bottle of water from the corner store. When she came back, Walter was crying silently. She sat beside him and opened the water and held it while he drank. "My wife used to hold my hand," he said. "Margaret. She's gone now. I'm sorry. Everyone's gone." Naomi didn't have an answer for that. So she just sat there, holding the hand of a stranger who was worth more money than she'd seen in 10 lifetimes. While the market churned around them and the world kept moving and neither of them had anywhere else to be. Naomi stared at her phone screen. The words didn't change. Net worth. $40 million. Walter sipped the water, oblivious. A drop ran down his chin. Naomi reached over and wiped it away with her sleeve. The gesture was automatic. The kind of thing you did for family. He wasn't family. He was a stranger who could buy her entire neighborhood. "Do you have your phone?" she asked. Walter patted his pockets. I don't know. What about your wallet? Can I look?" He handed it over. Naomi opened it. Driver's license expired 6 months ago. 3 credit cards. A photo of a woman with silver hair and kind eyes. $7 cash. No phone. The business card listed an office address on Walnut Street. Naomi checked the time. 12:15 p.m. She'd been gone from the flower stand for 28 minutes. Her boss would be livid. "Walter, do you know your home address?" He frowned. Concentration pulled his features tight. "Rittenhouse." "What street?" There's a doorman. His name is..." Walter's face collapsed. I don't know. It's okay. We'll figure it out." But Naomi's hands were shaking now. She knew what this looked like. Young black girl with a rich, confused white man. She'd taken his wallet, touched his face, led him away from the crowd. Every interaction was evidence against her. A mall security guard walked past. Different one. Older. His eyes locked on them. Naomi felt the assessment. The judgment. He changed direction, headed straight for them. "Afternoon," he said. Not friendly. "Everything all right here?" "Yes, sir," Naomi said. Kept her voice level. Non-threatening. The voice she'd learned to use with white authority. "Sir." The guard addressed Walter. "Do you know this girl?" Walter looked at Naomi. Confusion flickered across his face. He was trying to remember. Couldn't. "Sir." The guard's hand moved to his radio. "Yes," Walter said finally. "Yes, she's helping me." "Helping you with what?" "I can't find my car." The guard studied Walter's wet slippers, his stained shirt, then looked at Naomi, at her yellow jacket and tired face, at Walter's wallet in her hands. "Miss, I'm going to need to see some ID." Naomi's throat went tight. "I was just trying to help him." "ID, please." She pulled out her driver's license, handed it over. The guard wrote down her information. Naomi felt Walter tense beside her. Even through his confusion, he understood something was wrong. "She didn't do anything," Walter said. His voice came out stronger. "She helped me. Everyone else walked away." The guard handed back Naomi's license. "I'm going to need you to return his wallet and move along." He needs help. He doesn't know where he lives. That's not your problem. Then whose problem is it? The guard's jaw tightened. Don't get smart with me. Return the wallet. Naomi gave it back to Walter. Their fingers touched. His hand was still shaking. I can call the police to do a welfare check, the guard said. But you need to go. No. Walter grabbed Naomi's wrist. Not hard. Desperate. Don't leave me. The guard's expression shifted. Suspicion to something uglier. Sir, has this girl taken anything from you? What? No. Has she asked you for money? He gave me his wallet, Naomi said. Her voice stayed calm, but her pulse hammered. I was looking for ID so I could help him get home. That's what they all say. The words hit like a slap. Naomi felt Walter's grip on her wrist tighten. She's telling the truth, Walter said. I'm the one who asked for help. A woman stopped walking. Then another. Small crowd forming again. Phones came out. Someone was recording. Naomi's chest compressed. This was it. This was the moment that would follow her. The video that would define her. Young black girl accused of robbing an elderly man. I'm calling this in, the guard said. Wait. A new voice. Older black woman in a reading terminal market vendor apron. She ran the soul food counter near the entrance. Naomi had bought lunch from her a few times. I saw the whole thing. This girl helped him. He was lost and scared and everyone else kept walking. The guard hesitated. She bought him water with her own money, the woman continued. Sat with him when nobody else would. Now you want to arrest her for being kind. Nobody said anything about arresting. That's where this was headed. The guard looked at Naomi. At Walter. At the small crowd watching. His radio crackled with some other emergency across the market. Get him home, he said finally. And next time, let someone else handle it. He walked away. The crowd dispersed. The woman from the soul food counter squeezed Naomi's shoulder. You did good, baby. Then she was gone too. Naomi sat frozen. Walter still held her wrist. I'm sorry, he said. I didn't mean to cause trouble. You didn't cause anything. But that wasn't true. He'd caused her to care. To stop when she should have kept walking. To risk everything for someone she didn't know. Naomi pulled out her phone. Battery at 8%. She called the non-emergency police line. Explained the situation. They said someone could come in 2 to 3 hours. Maybe longer. Understaffed. She couldn't stay here that long. Couldn't keep sitting on this bench with people staring. Couldn't keep holding the wallet of a man worth $40 million. But she couldn't leave him either. There's a diner, Naomi said. Few blocks from here. Can you walk? I think so. She helped him stand. His legs were unsteady. She wrapped his arm around her shoulders and they walked slowly toward the exit. People watched. Naomi felt every eye. Every assumption. Every conclusion drawn about who she was and what she wanted. Her phone buzzed. Her boss. Where are you? You're fired. Asterisk asterisk. Naomi deleted the message. $19 in her pocket. No job. A mother dying at home. And an old man leaning on her shoulder who couldn't remember his own address. The November wind hit them when they stepped outside. Walter shivered. Naomi pulled off her yellow jacket and wrapped it around his shoulders. Her father's jacket. The last thing she had of him. You'll be cold, Walter said. I'm fine. They walked south on 12th Street. Walter's slippers scraped the concrete. Naomi counted her remaining money in her head. $19. Enough for coffee and maybe soup. Enough to keep him warm until the police came. Enough to tell herself she'd done the right thing. Even if the right thing destroyed her. The Melrose Diner sat on the corner of Passyunk and Snyder. Red vinyl booths. Black and white checkered floor. The smell of grease and coffee and pie. Naomi pushed through the door with Walter still leaning on her. A waitress looked up from behind the counter. Middle-aged white woman, bleached hair pulled back, name tag that said Dottie. 2? Dottie asked. Please. They slid into a booth near the back. Walter collapsed against the vinyl. Naomi's yellow jacket hung loose on his thin frame. She sat across from him and tried to calculate how long $17 would stretch. Dottie brought menus and water. Coffee. 2, Naomi said. Walter wrapped both hands around his water glass. Drank half of it in 3 swallows. His color was better. Not good, but better. I need to call someone for you, Naomi said. Is there anyone? Your kids. Walter's face changed. Something closed off. Preston. My son. He's a lawyer. Does he live in Philadelphia? Bryn Mawr. 20 minutes out. What's his number? Walter stared at the table. His jaw worked. Naomi watched him try to pull the information from wherever memories went when they disappeared. After a long moment, he shook his head. I don't know. I used to know. I knew everyone's numbers. His voice cracked. Now I can't even. It's okay. We'll find it another way. Dottie returned with coffee. Set down 2 mugs. You folks ready to order? Naomi looked at the menu. Soup was $4. Grilled cheese was $6. She had $17 total. Need bus fare home. Need something for her mother. Just coffee for now, she said. The lady will have soup, Walter said. And I'll have the same. Chicken noodle. Walter, you don't have to. Please. He looked at her. Fully present. You've been kind to me. Let me buy you lunch. Dottie wrote it down and left. Naomi wrapped her hands around her coffee mug. The heat felt good. She hadn't realized how cold she was until now. Thank you, she said. You gave me your jacket. You needed it more. Walter studied her. Really looked at her. What's your last name? Washington. Naomi Washington. He repeated it like he was memorizing. How old are you? 17. You should be in school. I graduated early. Sort of. She didn't mention dropping out. Didn't mention the GED she still needed to take. What do you do? For work. I was at the flower stand. Before. She gestured vaguely. Before she'd gotten fired for helping him. I'm sorry, Walter said. I got you in trouble. You didn't do anything. I forgot where I lived. I forgot everything. He stared into his coffee. This happens more now. The forgetting. My doctor calls it early stage dementia. Early stage. He laughed without humor. Like that makes it better. Naomi didn't know what to say. Her father had died fast. Car accident on I-95. 1 minute alive, next minute gone. She'd never had to watch him disappear slowly. My wife Margaret died 8 years ago, Walter continued. The words came easier now, like he was reading from a script he'd memorized. Pancreatic cancer. 6 months from diagnosis to funeral. I buried myself in work after. Bought more properties. Made more money. Thought if I stayed busy enough, I wouldn't have to feel it. Did it work? No. He looked at her. It just made me lonely. Dottie brought their soup. Steam rose from both bowls. Naomi's stomach clenched with hunger. She picked up her spoon. What about you? Walter asked. You have family? My mom. She's sick. Lupus. Has been for 3 years. I'm sorry. The medication costs more than we make. We're drowning. The words came out before Naomi could stop them. She never talked about this. Never admitted how bad things were. But something about Walter's openness cracked her own defenses. My dad died 2 years ago. Car accident. After that, everything fell apart. Medical bills. His funeral. My mom couldn't work anymore. I had to. What about school? What about it? You're 17. You should be thinking about college. About your future. Naomi stirred her soup. My future is making sure my mom doesn't die. That's it. Walter was quiet for a long moment. When he spoke again, his voice was softer. I have 2 children, Preston and Claire. Preston lives in Bryn Mawr, makes $300,000 a year. Claire lives in Boston, marketing executive. 2 grandchildren I've met twice. When did you see them last? Preston came by 4 months ago. Needed me to sign some papers. Claire sends a card at Christmas. That's it. That's it. Walter ate a spoonful of soup. His hand was steadier now. I wasn't a good father. I was a good businessman. There's a difference. When they were young, I worked 70-hour weeks. Missed birthdays. Missed games. Missed everything that mattered. Margaret raised them alone while I built an empire. He paused. Now I have the empire. And nobody to share it with. Naomi felt something shift in her chest. This man had everything she didn't. Money. Security. A home. But he was just as alone as she was. Maybe more. Why are you telling me this? She asked. Because you stopped. What? In the market. Everyone else kept walking. You stopped. Walter's eyes filled. Do you know what that's like? To be invisible. To stand in a crowd of thousands and have every single person look through you like you're not there. Naomi did know. She knew exactly what that felt like. I see you, she said quietly. Walter reached across the table. Took her hand. His grip was warm now. Strong. I see you too. They sat like that while their soup cooled. 2 strangers holding hands in a diner on a Wednesday afternoon in November. Outside, the city moved. Inside, time stopped. Naomi's phone buzzed. Text from her mother. Baby, where are you? I'm worried. Asterisk asterisk. She pulled her hand back and typed. I'm okay. Had to help someone. Be home soon. Asterisk asterisk. Your mother? Walter asked. Yeah. You should go to her. I can't leave you alone. The police will come. In 2 or 3 hours. Maybe. Naomi shook her head. I'm not leaving you sitting here by yourself. Why? The question wasn't accusatory. Genuinely curious. Why do you care what happens to me? Naomi thought about it. About her father's hand in hers at the hospital. About her mother's labored breathing this morning. About being 17 and drowning and terrified every single day. Because somebody should, she said finally. Everybody deserves to have someone care. Walter's face did something complicated. Gratitude and grief mixed together. You remind me of her. Of Margaret. She used to say things like that. She sounds like she was good. She was better than I deserved. They finished their soup. Naomi checked Walter's pockets again and found a business card with his son's number printed on the back. She stared at it for a long moment before dialing. The phone rang 3 times. Sterling. The voice was clipped. Professional. Cold. Hi, my name is Naomi Washington. I'm calling about your father. A pause. Who? Your father. Walter Sterling. He's with me. He got lost and... Where is he? We're at the Melrose Diner on Passyunk. He couldn't remember his address and... Keep him there. I'll send someone. Wait, are you coming? Because he's really confused and I think he needs... The line went dead. Naomi stared at her phone. Preston hadn't asked if Walter was okay. Hadn't asked if he was hurt. Just, keep him there. He's sending someone, she told Walter. Walter nodded. Looked down at his empty bowl. He's busy. Preston's always busy. Too busy for his father. Too busy for the man who's forgetting his name. They waited. 43 minutes. Naomi bought them both more coffee with money she didn't have. Walter drifted in and out. Sometimes he knew where he was. Sometimes he asked for Margaret. Sometimes he just stared out the window. And Naomi stayed. Because leaving meant letting him disappear again. The black Mercedes pulled up at 2:47 p.m. Naomi watched through the diner window as a man in a dark suit stepped out. Mid-30s. White. expressionless. He checked his phone, then walked toward the entrance without urgency. The door chimed when he entered. His eyes found Walter immediately. Mr. Sterling. He crossed to their booth. Didn't acknowledge Naomi. I'm here to take you home. Who are you? Walter asked. Gerald. I work for your son. Preston sent you. Yes, sir. Walter looked at Naomi. Uncertainty crossed his face. Is it safe? He works for your son, Naomi said. It's okay. But it didn't feel okay. Gerald stood there waiting, radiating impatience. No warmth. No concern. Just a task to complete. I need to see identification, Naomi said. Gerald's eyebrow lifted. Excuse me. ID. Something that proves you work for Preston Sterling. And you are? The person who's been taking care of him for the past 3 hours. Gerald pulled out his phone. Showed her a text from a number saved as Preston Sterling. Asterisk, pick up my father at Melrose Diner. Passyunk and Snyder. Bring him home. Asterisk. Naomi read it twice. Cold. Transactional. Like Walter was a package that needed collecting. Satisfied. Gerald asked. Not really. Mr. Sterling, we should go. Your son is waiting. Walter stood slowly. Naomi stood with him. Gerald moved to take Walter's arm, but Walter pulled back. She comes with me, Walter said. That's not necessary. I want her to come. Gerald's jaw tightened. Mr. Sterling, my instructions are to bring you home. Just you. Then I'm not going. They stared at each other. Gerald and Walter. Authority versus stubbornness. After a long moment, Gerald sighed. Fine. But I'm not responsible for her. Nobody asked you to be, Naomi said. She helped Walter into his jacket. Her father's yellow jacket. It still hung loose on Walter's thin frame. Gerald held the door open and they walked out into the November cold. The Mercedes was warm inside. Leather seats. Tinted windows. Naomi had never been in a car this expensive. She sat in the back with Walter. Gerald drove without speaking. Walter stared out the window as they moved through South Philadelphia. His hands rested in his lap, fingers twitching. I built my first property on this street, he said suddenly. 22nd and Washington. Small apartment building. 8 units. 1975. I was 28 years old. Naomi followed his gaze. Saw only row houses and corner stores. Margaret thought I was crazy, Walter continued. Taking out a loan that big. But the building was solid. Good bones. I renovated it myself. Spent every weekend for 6 months with a hammer and paintbrushes. He smiled. Sold it 3 years later for twice what I paid. That's when I knew. Knew what? That I was good at this. Building things. Fixing things. Making something valuable from something broken. His smile faded. I just forgot that people aren't buildings. You can't fix them with a hammer. Gerald turned onto Walnut Street. The neighborhoods changed. Row houses became high-rises. Corner stores became boutiques. Preston was 8 when Margaret got pregnant with Claire, Walter said. He wasn't talking to Naomi anymore. Just talking. Remembering. I was building the Chestnut Street Tower. Biggest project of my career. 200 units. $30 million loan. I worked 18-hour days. Missed the ultrasounds. Missed the birth. Got to the hospital 3 hours after Claire was born. His voice went quiet. Margaret forgave me. She always forgave me. But Preston didn't. He never forgot that I chose work over them. You were providing for your family, Naomi said. I was running away from them. Walter looked at her. You can call it work. Call it ambition. Call it whatever you want. But the truth is I was scared. Scared of being close. Scared of failing them. So I built buildings instead of relationships. Now I have $42 million and 2 children who visit once a year. The car pulled up to a high-rise on Rittenhouse Square. Doorman in a uniform. Marble lobby visible through glass doors. Gerald parked and came around to open Walter's door. Naomi climbed out after him. The doorman's face changed when he saw Walter. "Mr. Sterling. We've been looking for you." He was black, maybe 60, kind eyes. "Rosa called down hours ago. She was worried." "I'm sorry, Henry," Walter said. "Henry." So Walter remembered the doorman's name but not his own address. They rode the elevator to the 22nd floor. Naomi watched the numbers climb and felt increasingly out of place. Her sneakers were worn. Her jeans had a hole in the knee. She belonged in South Philadelphia, not here. The elevator opened directly into Walter's penthouse. Naomi stopped breathing. Windows wrapped around 3 sides. The city stretched out in every direction. Hardwood floors. Furniture that looked expensive and uncomfortable. Everything was clean. Everything was perfect. Everything was empty. "Mr. Sterling, thank God." A Latina woman in her 50s rushed over. "I turned around for 5 minutes and you were gone. I called Preston. I called everyone." "I'm sorry, Rosa," Walter said. Rosa saw Naomi. Her expression shifted. Questions formed, but she didn't ask them. "This is Naomi," Walter said. "She helped me today. She's a good person." Rosa studied Naomi for a long moment. Whatever she saw must have satisfied her because she nodded. "Thank you for bringing him home." "I should go," Naomi said. "Wait." Walter grabbed her hand. "Don't leave yet. Please. Your family's coming. You don't need me anymore. I need you to stay until they get here." Something in his voice. Fear. The same fear she'd seen in the market. Of being alone. Of disappearing. "Okay," Naomi said. "I'll stay." Gerald left. Rosa went to make tea. Naomi and Walter sat on the couch overlooking the city. Silence settled between them. "My father died on I-95, Naomi said. She didn't know why she was telling him this. Maybe because he'd shared his regrets. Maybe because sitting in this empty palace made her understand his loneliness. September 23, 2021. Thursday afternoon. Someone ran a red light at the Columbus Boulevard exit. Killed him instantly. Walter turned to face her. "He was a mechanic," she continued. "Made $30,000 a year. We lived in a 2-bedroom apartment that smelled like cabbage from the neighbors. But every Sunday he made pancakes. And every night he asked about my day. And when he died, he left us nothing except medical debt and a yellow jacket." Her voice cracked. Walter squeezed her hand. "He was a good man," Naomi said. "Better than most. And nobody remembers him except me and my mom. No news articles. No Wikipedia page. Just gone." "I'll remember him," Walter said. "You don't even know him. I know he raised a daughter who stops for strangers. That's enough." Naomi wiped her eyes. Through the window, Philadelphia gleamed in the afternoon sun. Beautiful and cruel and indifferent. "Money doesn't fix loneliness," Walter said. "I learned that too late. But maybe you won't have to." Before Naomi could answer, the elevator chimed. 2 people stepped out. A man in an expensive suit, late 40s, thinning hair. A woman beside him, younger, designer clothes, phone in hand. Preston and Claire Sterling. They saw their father on the couch. Saw Naomi sitting beside him, holding his hand. And everything changed. Preston Sterling stopped 3 feet into the penthouse. His eyes locked on Naomi. "Who are you?" "Naomi Washington. I found your father at Reading Terminal Market. He was lost." Preston looked at Claire. Back at Naomi. "And you brought him here?" "Your driver brought us." "Gerald. Where is Gerald?" "He left." Preston's jaw tightened. He crossed the room in 5 strides. "Dad, are you okay?" Walter blinked at him. "Preston." "Yes, Dad. It's me." Preston knelt down, checking Walter's face, his hands. Looking for injuries. "Are you hurt? Did you fall?" "No. I couldn't find my car." "Your car is in the garage. You don't drive anymore. Remember? Walter's face crumpled. I forgot. Claire came over. She was softer than her brother. 42, blonde hair pulled back, exhaustion in her eyes. Hi, Daddy. Claire. Walter smiled. When did you get here? Just now. Preston called me. Said you went missing. I wasn't missing. I was just. Walter trailed off. Preston stood, turned to Naomi. Thank you for bringing him home. Rosa can take it from here. It was a dismissal, clear and cold. Okay. Naomi started to stand. No. Walter grabbed her wrist. Don't go yet. Dad, this girl has done enough. I'm sure she has somewhere to be. I want her to stay. That's not appropriate. Why not? Walter's voice went sharp. The confusion burned away. She helped me when no one else would. She deserves more than being rushed out the door. Preston opened his mouth, closed it, looked at Claire. Some silent sibling communication passed between them. Fine, Preston said. 5 minutes. He walked toward the kitchen. Claire followed. Rosa disappeared into another room. Naomi heard them talking in low voices. About her. About Walter. About what to do next. Walter squeezed Naomi's hand. I'm sorry. Preston can be. It's fine. It's not fine. You saved me today and he's treating you like you did something wrong. I'm a stranger in your house. He's protecting you. From what? From kindness. Walter stood slowly, walked to a desk near the window, pulled out a checkbook. How much do I owe you? You don't owe me anything. You lost work because of me. Bought me water. Bought me soup. He clicked a pen. How much? Walter, stop. 5,000. He started writing. 10. I don't want your money. The pen stopped. Walter looked at her. Really looked at her. Everyone wants my money. I don't. Why did you help me then? Naomi thought about her father. About being invisible. About the security guard's eyes and the assumptions and the way everyone had walked past Walter like he was a ghost. Because you needed help, she said simply. That's it. Walter stared at the half-written check. His hand started shaking. The pen dropped. He sat down hard in the desk chair. 42 years, he whispered. 42 years I've been writing checks. Solving problems with money. Everyone has a price. Everyone wants something. He looked up at her. Tears on his face. But you don't. No. Do you know what that means to me? Naomi didn't answer. Couldn't. Walter tore up the check. Let the pieces fall. I've been alone for so long. 8 years since Margaret died. But really longer. Because she was here and I was still alone. Too busy working. Too busy building. Too busy to see what mattered. He stood. Crossed to her. You remind me of who I used to be. Before the money. Before the emptiness. You remind me that people can be good without wanting anything in return. I'm not special, Naomi said. You stopped when everyone else kept walking. That's the definition of special. From the kitchen, voices rose. Preston and Claire arguing about something. Rosa's softer voice trying to mediate. They're talking about putting me somewhere, Walter said. A facility. Preston's been pushing for it. Says I'm not safe alone. Are you safe alone? No. He laughed without humor. But I don't want to go. I don't want to be locked away where nobody knows my name. Where I'm just another confused old man waiting to die. Naomi's chest hurt. What do you want? I want to matter. I want someone to care if I'm here or not. He paused. Today you cared. And it's been so long since anyone did that I forgot what it felt like. The words broke something in Naomi. She thought about her mother. About caring so much it hurt. About how exhausting it was to love someone who was disappearing. But also how necessary. I care, she said. Walter's face did something complicated. Will you come back? Visit me? I don't know if that's a good idea. Please. You don't have to stay long. Just so I know someone sees me. Naomi looked around the penthouse. At the wealth surrounding them. The emptiness inside it. She thought about her $19 bank account and her mother's medical bills and the impossibility of their worlds ever truly connecting. But then she looked at Walter. At the hope in his face. At the desperate need to be seen. Okay, she said. I'll visit. Walter exhaled. Relief flooded his features. Thank you. He walked back to the desk. Pulled out his wallet. You lost a day of work because of me. At least let me cover that. Walter. Please. I know you don't want my money. But you have bills. You have a mother to take care of. Let me do this one small thing. Naomi calculated in her head. 8 hours at $12 an hour. $96. But she'd only worked 3 hours before finding him. $60, she said. That's what I would have made today. Walter pulled out 3 20s. Held them out. $60. Naomi took the money. It felt strange in her hand. Not enough to matter. Too much to feel comfortable with. Thank you, she said. Thank you, Walter replied. For seeing me. They stood there for a moment. 2 people from different worlds who'd found something rare. Understanding. Preston came back into the room. Dad, we need to talk about what happened today. About why you left. About making sure it doesn't happen again. I know, Walter said. Preston turned to Naomi. I appreciate what you did. Truly. But we'll handle things from here. It was the second dismissal. Firmer this time. I should go, Naomi said. My mom's waiting. Walter walked her to the elevator. Preston and Claire watched from the couch. Walter hugged her. The embrace was brief but tight. Come back, he whispered. Please. I will. The elevator doors closed. Naomi watched Walter's face until it disappeared. She rode down 22 floors feeling like she was leaving something important behind. Her phone buzzed. A text from a number she didn't recognize. This is Walter. Rosa helped me save your number. Thank you for today. You saved my life. Naomi stared at the message. $60 in her pocket. A job lost. A mother waiting at home. And a strange new weight in her chest that felt like responsibility and connection and something she couldn't quite name. She texted back, You're welcome. I'll visit soon. Henry the doorman called her a cab. Naomi couldn't afford it, but she was too exhausted to take 2 buses home. She gave the driver her address in South Philadelphia and watched the city change outside the window. Rich to poor. Clean to cluttered. Possibility to limitation. By the time she walked into her apartment at 4:30 p.m., her mother was asleep. The bills still covered the fridge. The world hadn't changed. But something in Naomi had. She lay in bed that night and thought about Walter's empty penthouse. About his children who'd looked at her like she was a threat. About the way his hand had felt in hers. About how sometimes the richest people are the poorest. Her phone buzzed again at 11 p.m. Good night. Naomi. Thank you for reminding me what kindness looks like. She smiled in the dark and texted back. Good night, Walter. She fell asleep thinking about visiting him. About the unlikely friendship forming. About how maybe, just maybe, helping someone else could help her too. She had no idea how wrong things were about to go. Naomi visited on Saturday. 3 days had passed since that Wednesday at the market. 3 days of text messages from Walter. Small things. How is your mother? And I remembered where I keep the coffee today. And Rosa made pot roast. Wish you were here to share it. Each message made her smile. Made her feel less alone. Her mother noticed. Who's got you grinning at your phone? A friend. Must be some friend. Naomi took the bus to Rittenhouse Square at noon. She'd dressed carefully. Clean jeans. A white sweater. Wanted to look respectable. Wanted Preston and Claire to see she wasn't a threat. Henry the doorman remembered her. "Mr. Sterling will be happy to see you." The elevator ride up felt longer this time. Naomi's stomach twisted. She told herself it was fine. Walter wanted her here. She was just visiting. The elevator doors opened. Preston stood in the foyer. Arms crossed. Face cold. "Miss Washington." "Hi. I'm here to see Walter." "I know why you're here." Behind him, Claire appeared. Next to her stood a white woman in a navy suit. 50, severe expression, leather briefcase in hand. "This is Angela Hoffman," Preston said. "Our father's attorney. We'd like to talk to you." Naomi's mouth went dry. "About what?" "About your relationship with our father." "I don't have a relationship with him. I helped him when he was lost. That's it. And yet you're back." Preston stepped closer. "Why?" "Because he asked me to visit." "Did he ask you? Or did you suggest it?" "What?" Angela the lawyer spoke. Her voice was measured. Professional. "Miss Washington, we're not accusing you of anything. We just want to understand the nature of your connection to Mr. Sterling." "There's no nature. I found him confused at the market. I stayed with him until he got home. He texted me a few times. He asked me to visit. So I came." "And he gave you money," Preston said. Naomi's chest tightened. $60. For the work shift I missed helping him." "Just $60? "Yes." "You're sure? Because if there were other payments, other gifts, it would be better to tell us now." "There's nothing else. I didn't want the $60. He insisted." Preston pulled out his phone. Showed her a bank statement. Walter's account. The $60 withdrawal was highlighted. So was another transaction. $5,000. Dated the day after she'd visited. "What's this?" Preston asked. "I don't know. A $5,000 withdrawal the day after you were in this apartment. And you don't know anything about it." "No. I swear." "Dad forgets things," Claire said. Her voice was softer than Preston's but no less cutting. "He gets confused. People could take advantage and he wouldn't remember." "I didn't take anything." "We're not saying you did." Angela again. Calm. Reasonable. "But you have to understand our concern. Our father has significant assets and declining cognitive function. We have a legal obligation to protect him." "From what?" "From someone who actually cares about him." Preston's face went hard. "You don't know him. You met him once. Once was enough to see he's lonely. He's being well cared for." "By who?" "Rosa. She's great. But where are you? Where's Claire? When's the last time either of you spent more than an hour with him?" "How dare you?" "Preston." Claire touched his arm. "Let's stay calm." But Preston was past calm. "You're a kid from South Philly who saw an opportunity. A confused old man with money. You think we don't see what this is?" The words hit like fists. Naomi felt her face burn. "You think I'm scamming him?" "I think you're 17 and desperate and saw a mark." "Preston, that's enough," Claire said. "Is it? Look at her. You think she's here because she likes him? She wants something. I want him to not die alone." Naomi's voice cracked. "That's what I want. I want him to have someone who sees him as a person instead of a bank account or a problem to solve. You don't get to tell us how to care for our father." "Someone should." The silence that followed was sharp. Preston's face went red. Angela made notes on her legal pad. "Where is Walter?" Naomi asked. "Can I talk to him?" "He's resting," Claire said. "I want to see him." "That's not a good idea right now." "Why not?" A door opened down the hall. Walter emerged. Pajamas. Confused expression. He saw them all standing there and stopped. "What's happening?" he asked. "Dad, go back to bed," Preston said. "Naomi." Walter's face brightened. He walked toward her. "You came." "Hi, Walter." He took her hand. Preston moved to step between them, but Claire held him back. "I'm glad you're here," Walter said. "I wanted to show you something. There's a photo album. From when the kids were young. Margaret made it." "Dad, we're in the middle of something," Preston said. Walter ignored him. "Come sit with me. We can look at pictures." "Mr. Sterling," Angela said, "do you remember giving Miss Washington any money?" Walter frowned. "Money? I gave her $60. For her work. Anything else? I tried to give her $5,000. She refused." Preston and Claire exchanged looks. "But you wrote a check?" Angela asked. "I tore it up. She didn't want it." "Are you sure, Dad?" Preston's voice went gentle. Patronizing. "You've been confused lately. Maybe you forgot." "I'm not confused about this." Walter's grip on Naomi's hand tightened. "She didn't take anything. She's not like that." "How do you know?" Preston asked. "You met her 3 days ago." "I know because she sees me." Walter's voice broke. "She sees me and you don't." The words hung in the air. Claire looked away. Preston's jaw worked. "Dad, we're trying to protect you," Claire said quietly. "From what?" "From someone who actually visited. From being taken advantage of." "Is that what you think? That I'm so far gone I can't tell when someone's kind versus someone who wants my money?" Walter looked at his children. Really looked at them. "I built a $40 million company. I wasn't an idiot then and I'm not an idiot now." "You have dementia," Preston said. "Your judgment is impaired. My memory is impaired. Not my heart." Angela stepped forward. "Mr. Sterling, no one is questioning your heart. But legally, we have to ensure your assets are protected. Miss Washington is a minor with no connection to your family. If she continues visiting, it raises questions." "What questions?" "About undue influence. About exploitation." Walter dropped Naomi's hand. Turned to face Angela. "Get out of my house. Mr. Sterling. Get out. All of you. Except Naomi." No one moved. "Dad, you're upset," Claire said. "I'm clear. Clearer than I've been in months. And I'm telling you to leave." Preston's face went cold. "We're not leaving. This is an intervention." "For what?" "For your safety." Walter laughed. Sharp and bitter. "My safety. You want to lock me away where I won't embarrass you. Where I won't befriend the wrong people. Where I'll just fade quietly and leave you my money." "That's not fair," Claire whispered. "Isn't it?" Naomi watched it all unfold. The family breaking in front of her. And she understood. This wasn't about her. This was years of damage. Years of absence and resentment. She was just the match that lit the fuse. "I should go," she said. "No," Walter said. "Walter, they're your family. You need to talk to them. They think you're using me." "I know. You're not." "I know." Naomi looked at Preston. At Claire. At the lawyer taking notes. "But maybe they're right to be careful. Maybe I shouldn't come back." "Don't say that. You need to work things out with your kids. I'm just making it worse." Walter's eyes filled. "You're the only person who's made anything better." The words shattered her. Naomi felt tears coming and refused to let them fall. Not here. Not in front of these people who already saw her as weak. As predatory. As less. "I'm sorry," she said. She walked to the elevator. Preston didn't try to stop her. Claire looked like she wanted to say something but didn't. Angela kept writing. Walter called her name. Naomi didn't turn around. The elevator doors closed on his face. She made it to the lobby before the crying started. Naomi didn't tell her mother what happened. She came home that Saturday afternoon and went straight to her room. Lay on the mattress and stared at the ceiling. Her phone buzzed twice. Text messages. She didn't look. By Sunday morning, she'd convinced herself it was better this way. Preston was right. She was a kid from South Philly with nothing to offer. Walter had a family. Had money. Had everything except what mattered. But that wasn't her problem. She deleted Walter's number. Blocked it. Turned off her phone. Monday she went looking for work. Hit every shop on Passyunk Avenue. Nobody was hiring. Tuesday she tried Center City. Same result. By Wednesday her bank account showed $11.23 and her mother needed medication refills. "You've been quiet," Lorraine said that night. Naomi was making soup. Canned tomato. Crackers. It was all they had. "I'm fine." "You're not fine. You haven't looked at your phone in 3 days. Battery's dead." Naomi. She stirred the soup. Kept her back to her mother. "I helped someone last week," Naomi said. "And his family thought I was trying to rob him." Silence. Then. "Were you?" "No." "Then why does it matter what they think?" Naomi turned around. "Because they were right to think it. Look at us. Look at how we live. Why wouldn't someone like me see someone like him as an opportunity?" "Because you're not someone like that." "How do you know?" "Maybe I am. Maybe I'm one bad month away from being exactly what they thought I was." Lorraine stood. Slowly. Walking hurt these days. She crossed the kitchen and took her daughter's face in both hands. "Your father raised you better than that. I raised you better than that. And deep down, you know who you are." She paused. "But if you need to hear it, you're the girl who gives away her jacket when she's cold. Who shares her last dollar. Who stops for strangers because it's right." Her voice went soft. "Don't let cruel people make you forget that." Naomi's eyes burned. "They said I was using him." "Were you?" "No. I liked talking to him. He was lonely and I was lonely and for a minute we weren't. Then maybe he needs you to be brave enough to fight for that." "His family won't let me near him." "Then fight harder." Across the city, Walter stopped eating. Rosa brought him breakfast Thursday morning. Eggs and toast. The same meal she'd made every day for 6 years. Walter looked at it and turned away. "Mr. Sterling, you need to eat." "I'm not hungry." "You said that yesterday. And the day before." "Then stop asking." Rosa left the plate. Came back an hour later. Untouched. She tried again at lunch. Soup and a sandwich. Walter didn't look at it. By Friday, Preston called. "Rosa says he's not eating." "What's going on?" "He's depressed," Rosa said. "He won't talk. Won't get dressed. Just sits by the window." "Did something happen?" "You tell me. You were here last. You and your sister and that lawyer." Preston was quiet for a moment. "We were protecting him." "From what?" "From being exploited." "That girl wasn't exploiting him. She was visiting him." "There's a difference." "How do you know?" "Because I watched them together. I saw how he looked at her. Like she mattered. Like he mattered." Rosa's voice hardened. "When's the last time you looked at him like that?" Preston hung up. Claire came Saturday morning. She found her father in the same chair by the window. Unshaven. Wearing pajamas. Staring at nothing. "Hi, Daddy." He didn't respond. "Rosa says you're not eating." "Nothing." Claire sat across from him. "I'm worried about you. You should have thought about that before." "Before what?" "Before you drove her away." Claire went still. "The girl." "Naomi. Her name is Naomi Washington. She's 17 years old. Her mother is dying. She has nothing. And she was kind to me anyway." Walter looked at his daughter. His eyes were clear. Painfully clear. "You made her feel like a thief. Like she was wrong for caring. We were protecting you. I don't need protecting. I need someone to see me." "I see you." "Do you?" Walter's voice went quiet. "When's the last time you visited when you didn't need something? When's the last time you called just to talk? When's the last time you sat with me like this and just existed?" Claire's throat worked. She looked down at her hands. "You want to put me in a facility," Walter continued. Preston told me. Says I'm not safe alone. But you know what's not safe? Dying surrounded by people who don't know your name. Who don't care if you're here or gone. He paused. That girl knew me for 3 hours and she cared more than my own children have in years. That's not fair. Truth rarely is. Claire stood. Walked to the window. The city spread out below. Gray November sky. I don't know how to do this. Do what? Be your daughter when I'm also trying to be responsible. When I'm trying to make sure you're okay. I was okay. For 1 week. Because someone gave me a reason to wake up. She's a stranger. She was a stranger. Now she's the person I think about when I wake up and wonder if anyone will notice if I don't. The words hung between them. Claire felt something crack in her chest. Guilt. Shame. Recognition. She found a business card on Walter's dresser. Rose's handwriting on the back. Naomi. 215-555-0147. What are you doing? Walter asked. Something I should have done a week ago. Naomi's phone rang at 2 p.m. Saturday. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer. Hello. Is this Naomi Washington? Woman's voice. Familiar. Who's asking? This is Rosa. I work for Walter Sterling. Your number was blocked in his phone, but I found it written down. Naomi's heart stopped. Is he okay? No. He's not eating. Barely talking. He's asking for you. His family doesn't want me there. His family isn't here. And he needs you. Rosa's voice went soft. Please. I've worked for him 6 years. I've never seen him like this. Naomi closed her eyes. Thought about Preston's accusations. About being called a scammer. About walking away and staying away and keeping herself safe. Then she thought about Walter's hand in hers. About his empty penthouse. About dying alone. I'm coming, she said. She took 2 buses. Arrived at 3:47 p.m. Henry the doorman saw her coming and shook his head. Mr. Preston left instructions. You're not allowed up. Walter asked for me. I'm sorry. Naomi pulled out her phone. Called Rosa. I'm downstairs. They won't let me up. 2 minutes later, Rosa came down. Argued with Henry. He called Preston. Preston said absolutely not. Rosa threatened to quit. Henry looked between them. I could lose my job, he said. He could lose his will to live, Rosa said. Which matters more? Henry stepped aside. The elevator ride up felt like falling. Naomi's hand shook. She didn't know what she'd find. Didn't know if this was the right choice. The doors opened. Preston stood in the foyer. I told Henry you weren't allowed up. I know. You need to leave. No. I'll call the police. Call them. Naomi stepped forward. Call them and explain why you're keeping your father from the only person he wants to see. Explain why you'd rather he starve than spend time with someone who cares. Preston's face went red. You don't care about him. You care about his money. If I cared about his money, I would have taken the $5,000 he tried to give me. You're lying. Am I? Ask him. Ask him who tore up the check. They stared at each other. Naomi refused to look away. After a long moment, Preston stepped aside. 5 minutes. That's it. Naomi walked past him. Down the hall. To Walter's room. She knocked softly. Go away, Walter's voice called. Weak. Defeated. It's me, Naomi said. Silence. Then footsteps. The door opened. Walter stood there. Thinner than a week ago. Eyes hollow. But when he saw her, his face transformed. You came back. I came back. He pulled her into a hug. His whole body shook. Naomi held him and felt him crying against her shoulder and knew. This was worth fighting for. Walter held Naomi's hand and led her to the couch. They sat. Neither spoke for a long moment. I thought you weren't coming back, Walter said finally. I wasn't. But then your housekeeper called and said you stopped eating. Food didn't seem important. Walter, you were the first person in years to make me feel human. Then you left. Your family made me leave. I know. He looked down at their joined hands. I'm sorry. Preston and Claire are scared. They see my confusion getting worse and they panic. But that doesn't excuse how they treated you. From the doorway, Claire appeared. Not Preston. Just Claire. Her eyes were red. Can I come in? She asked. Walter nodded. Claire sat in the chair across from them. She looked at Naomi. I'm sorry. For what we said. For how we acted. You didn't deserve that. Naomi didn't respond. Waited. My father has been sick for 2 years, Claire continued. Watching someone you love forget pieces of themselves is terrifying. You start seeing threats everywhere. Anyone who gets close becomes suspicious. She paused. But Rosa showed me something. She pulled out a flower. Dried rose. Yellow petals pressed flat. You left this the first day you visited. Dad kept it on his nightstand. When I asked him about it, he said it reminded him that people could still be good. Claire's voice cracked. He hasn't talked about my mother in 3 years. Hasn't mentioned anything that made him happy. But he talked about you. About how you stopped when everyone else walked past. Where's Preston? Walter asked. Downstairs. Calling his lawyer to cancel the conservatorship paperwork. Walter went still. What? We were filing for conservatorship. To take over your finances. Your care. Everything. Claire looked at her father. But watching you this week, seeing you give up, I realized we were taking away the one thing that mattered. Your choice. Your voice. Your right to decide who gets to be in your life. You were going to take everything from me? We were trying to protect you. By controlling me? Yes. Claire wiped her eyes. And we were wrong. The room went quiet. Naomi felt Walter's hand trembling in hers. I want to change my will, Walter said. Dad. Not to punish you. To include someone who saw me when I needed seeing. He looked at Naomi. I'm setting up a scholarship fund. Full ride to Temple University. For you and others like you. Kids who have to choose between school and survival. Walter, I can't. And I'm paying your mother's medical bills. All of them. Naomi's breath stopped. That's too much. It's not enough. Walter squeezed her hand. But it's a start. I'm also putting you on my company board. When you turn 18, I'll teach you the real estate business. Not because you need my money, but because you have something I lost years ago. You know how to see people. Tears ran down Naomi's face. I don't know anything about business. You know about humanity. That's rarer. That's more valuable. Preston will never agree. Preston doesn't have to. Walter's voice went firm. The businessman emerging through the confusion. This is my company. My money. My choice. He looked at Claire. I'm not cutting you out. Either of you. But I'm adding someone in. Someone who earned her place by being kind when she had every reason not to be. Claire nodded slowly. Okay. Okay. You're right. About all of it. We haven't been here. We haven't seen you. And maybe that's the real betrayal. She stood. I'm going to get Preston. He needs to hear this from you. She left. Walter and Naomi sat alone. You don't have to do this, Naomi said. I want to. Your kids hate me. They'll learn to see what I see. He paused. I don't have much time left. Maybe 5 years before I don't know my own name. Maybe less. But I want to spend whatever time I have building something good. And you make me want to be good again. Naomi leaned her head on his shoulder. Thank you. For what? For letting me help you. Walter kissed the top of her head. Thank you for stopping. Spring sun turned Philadelphia gold. Naomi walked across Temple University's campus with her backpack slung over one shoulder. She wore jeans and a bright green t-shirt. Her afro had grown out. She looked different, lighter, like someone who'd learned to breathe again. Her phone buzzed. Text from Walter. Rosa made lasagna. Sunday dinner at 6? Preston and Claire will be here. She texted back, I'll be there. The weekly dinners had started in February. Awkward at first. Preston barely spoke to her. Claire tried too hard to be friendly. But slowly things shifted. Preston saw her dedication to learning the business. Claire saw her dedication to their father. And Walter was happy. That mattered most. Naomi's mother was doing better. The medication Walter paid for had slowed the lupus. Lorraine had gained weight. Started physical therapy. Talked about maybe going back to work part-time. The medical bills were gone. The collections calls stopped. The apartment still smelled like cabbage from the neighbors, but now it felt like home instead of a trap. Naomi finished her classes at 4 p.m. Took the subway to Rittenhouse Square. Henry the doorman waved her through. Mr. Sterling's been asking about you all day. I was here yesterday. He forgets. Henry's smile was sad. But he never forgets that he's happy when you come. The elevator ride up felt familiar now. Normal. She had her own key. Her own spot on the couch. Her own coffee mug in the cabinet. Rosa opened the door. Thank God. He's been driving me crazy. When is Naomi coming? Did she forget? Should I call her? Naomi laughed. Walked into the living room. Walter sat by the window. He turned when he heard her footsteps. His face lit up. There you are. Here I am. He stood. Slower than he used to. Thinner. The dementia was progressing. Some days were better than others. Today was a good day. How was class? He asked. Good. We're studying property development. I told the professor I know someone with 40 years of experience who might guest lecture. I'd like that. They sat together. Preston and Claire wouldn't arrive for another hour. Rosa was cooking. The apartment smelled like tomato sauce and garlic bread. I want to show you something, Walter said. He walked to his desk. Pulled out a folder. Inside were photos. Old ones. Walter at 28 in front of his first building. Walter and Margaret at their wedding. Preston and Claire as children. I'm forgetting more now, Walter said. Rosa has to remind me to shower. Sometimes I call her Margaret. But I'm writing things down. Stories. About my life. About the mistakes. About the things that mattered. He handed her a notebook. I want you to have this. So when I'm gone, you remember. You're not going anywhere. I am. Eventually. But that's okay. Because I'm not scared anymore. He took her hand. The gesture that had started everything. I was terrified of disappearing. Of not mattering. But you taught me something. What? That one moment of real connection is worth more than a lifetime of shallow ones. That being seen, truly seen, is the greatest gift anyone can give. Naomi's eyes burned. You taught me that too. Then we're even. They sat in comfortable silence. Outside the window, Philadelphia spread out in the golden light. Somewhere below, people rushed past each other without seeing. Without stopping. Without connecting. But up here, in this penthouse that used to feel like a prison, two people who'd saved each other sat holding hands. Same time next Sunday. Walter asked. Same time next Sunday, Naomi promised. And she kept that promise. Every Sunday. Through Walter's good days and bad days. Through the progression of his disease and the awkward family dinners and the board meetings where she was the youngest person by 30 years. She kept showing up. Because that's what you did for family. And Walter was family now. Not by blood. By choice. By the simple act of stopping when everyone else walked past. Naomi held Walter's hand as they walked through the crowds. He was in a wheelchair now. Mind mostly gone. But his eyes tracked the movement. The colors. The life. Do you remember this place? Naomi asked. Walter looked around. Confusion flickered across his face. Then something cleared. Just for a moment. You took my hand. Naomi's throat tightened. Yeah. I took your hand. Everyone else walked away. I know. But you stopped. She knelt beside his wheelchair. Met his eyes. I stopped because you mattered. You still matter. Walter smiled. Reached up and touched her face. My angel. He didn't remember her name anymore. Didn't remember the scholarship or the dinners or the countless Sundays. But he remembered the feeling. The moment someone had chosen to see him. And really that was all that mattered. Naomi bought him ice cream. Vanilla. His favorite. They sat by the flower stand where she used to work. Where their lives had collided. People rushed past. Busy. Distracted. Not seeing. But Naomi saw. And Walter, in whatever way he could, saw her back. Two souls who'd found each other in the chaos. Who'd chosen connection over convenience. Who'd proven that sometimes the greatest wealth isn't money. It's being seen.
Thank you for watching this story to the end. If you enjoyed this story, you will surely love the next one. It's as crazier and more intriguing as you can ever imagine. So do check it out. Click on the image showing on your screen right now to watch the next one.